Hey guys, I'm Jermaine Gash with the Wise News Network, and today we are with Dallas Seagle. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Wonderful. Thank you for coming in today. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I just graduated Burns High School summa cum laude. I plan to attend Lenore Ryan University in the fall to study pre-pharmacy, and my favorite hobbies are dancing, cheerleading, and singing a little bit.
Very nice. Now, it's no secret that you are Miss Emerald Ridge. How does that feel?
Amazing, kind of like in disbelief though, because I didn't think I was gonna win.
And why is that?
I fell twice during my talent. On my butt, I tapped on a wooden stage, and just my feet flew out from under me. The judges' faces were like, they couldn't believe I had done it. My mom couldn't believe I'd done it. She asked my pageant coach, she was like, there's another pageant coming up soon, right, that she can compete in? And she just completely counted me out. So when they called me as the winner, I was like, me? Really? I must have done really good in something else because I did not do good in my talent.
Well, the fact that you fell twice, you got up and you still won, that speaks volume. So you must be amazing. And we're definitely going to dive into that a little further. But I'd like to know more about some of your personal accomplishments first. I know that you are, in many accelerated programs and you have a lot going on. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
This year, I was the business manager for my yearbook, so I took all the money up, made sure everybody had everything right. I was an Excel club officer. I didn't do much. I just counted the minutes, but there was that. I've received the Einstein Award for Innovation because I love science that much that I have innovated even in the 7th grade. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, I'm also a nationally certified pharmacy technician.
Wow. Now, how in the world do you manage all of that? You're a student. You have so much going for you, and you're Miss Emerald Ridge. How do you manage all of that?
My mother, I owe a lot to her. She keeps me on track. She makes sure that I'm on time for everything because if you're on time, you're late. So I was actually had to be here a little bit early because she was like, if you don't get there early, I'm going to beat you. And I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, I will get there early, I promise. But she keeps me on track. She has a planner of all my events. And because I am just a teenager, I do forget a lot of things, but she's a lot more responsible than I. So she keeps me on track and makes sure I get everywhere I need to be.
Very nice. So your mom is kind of like your manager in a way, like
Yes.
a momager, I guess they would
Not a
say.
momager.
Oh, okay, no.
No, she's not that crazy. She kind of sits back and lets me do whatever I want to do,
Okay.
but make sure I get there on time and make sure I don't double book myself.
Okay. Does this career path have agents and managers?
Yes, so actually if I were to win Miss North Carolina's teen, my directors would be my agents. So if anybody wanted me to come do something for them or make an appearance somewhere, they couldn't ask me to come. They would have to go through my directors and book me on their calendar, and then I would find out after the fact that I'm booked somewhere. So it all just goes through other people before it gets to me.
Very nice. Now, I do have to ask, what are your plans after school? Because you're now 18, correct? What are your plans after college, just for life in general?
I want to be a pharmacist in a hospital where I can just live my life, make good money, have a good house. I just want to be happy and feel successful with what I've done, whatever path that is.
Amen to that. Well, you're definitely on the right path. So congratulations to everything thus far.
Thank you.
Now, tell me about becoming Miss Emerald Ridge. What was that process like, that experience like?
So there was a rehearsal. There were actually 2 rehearsals. In one rehearsal, we had a football game. And it was on a Friday night, and I was like, I cannot miss this football game. And they were like, it's okay, you can come to the Saturday rehearsal. And I was like, got it. So we had to learn an opening number. We had to learn a fitness routine with push-ups, jumping jacks, all this other stuff. Yes, we had to learn the evening gown walking patterns, and then we did a mock interview, all of the contestants together on our practice day, just so we weren't as nervous going into our regular interview.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you say all of that was in one day?
Yes.
Wow. So what time did you have to get there, and what time did that day end?
I'm pretty sure I had to be in Marion at like 8 o'clock. And yeah, that's like an hour drive from here. So I had to get up really, really early. And I'm not a morning person. So my mom drove, of course. But we ended at like 2, I think. It didn't take that long.
Okay. Wow. That's pretty intense.
Yes.
But where does the fitness part come in? Because you said that you guys had to learn, what was that?
A fitness routine.
Yes. Is that something that you guys had to do for the judges?
Yes.
Okay.
So we came out, we did jumping jacks, we did mountain climbers, we did 2 push-ups, and then we got up, we flexed our muscles, and we ran off the stage.
So I'm assuming it's the push-ups, like the...
Like army push-ups.
Yes.
Like you can't have your
Okay.
elbows out.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty intense and a lot to pack in an 8 to 2 schedule
Yes.
as well. A lot to learn. Let's see. There's also a scholarship program.
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell us a little bit about that?
So the scholarship program is donated to by like former Miss North Carolinas, former Miss Americas, people that put in time and effort to the organization. Mm-hmm. And they do it so that way we can have a better shot at paying off college debts and using that money for good. They're just really nice people, and I know that when I go to state, I have to write a thank you note to a former Miss North Carolina because she is the one donating $7,500 to the winner.
Amazing.
Yes, and I don't know how I'm going to be able to fit my gratitude into one thank you note. I may have to write her like 4.
That's understandable. I mean, that's huge.
That's a lot of money.
And college is very expensive.
Yes.
So, well, if you had to sum up the traits of Miss Emerald Ridge for someone who knew nothing about Miss Emerald Ridge, what traits would you say she needs to possess?
She definitely needs to be transparent, compassionate about what she's doing, lovable, enjoyable, personable. You have to be able to get along with other people because I'm constantly out at festivals or in small town things, talking to others. Just really transparent and open about what you're doing, what you have done, what you plan to do, and just being like that.
Wow. Well, a lot of people don't know this, but this is a billion-dollar industry. What would you say to, young girls who maybe one day would like to compete or participate in pageants? What kind of skills would they need? And I guess some of the traits you just mentioned, I assume, but what would you say to those girls interested in this?
Never give up, because when I first started pageants, I lost. Like every single pageant I was in for like a year straight. I always got first runner-up. I always got third runner-up. Miss Congeniality, stuff like that. But if you set goals for yourself, small goals, like I'm going to learn how to do my elbows better in evening gown, or I'm going to learn how to fix my talent, or something like that. If you start small, you will get up to your end goal of like winning a pageant. So you can't just give up on yourself just because it doesn't go your way the first couple of times.
That's understandable, just like anything in life,
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. You said that you were starting out as first runner-up, second runner-up, so
yes,
it was only a matter of time before you took home that crown, right?
Yes. Funny story, actually, I did beg my mom to let me quit pageants because I wasn't winning at all, and she was like, no, you're not allowed to quit. You've already started this. And I was like, Mom, I'm not winning. She was like, that's okay. We'll fix you. We'll help you get better. We'll set goals. And I was like, oh, okay, you believe I can do this? I believe I can do this.
I think that's absolutely amazing. And a parent should encourage you to keep going. I know that growing up, I was a swimmer, and I ended up swimming in college and everything, but I wanted to quit, when I started out for the first few years, and my mom wouldn't allow me to quit either. And I'm so glad she didn't. So, and also I wanted to mention the elbows part. You mentioned practicing my elbows. What does that mean?
So when I first started out doing pageants, I would like walk with my elbows straight, and nobody walks with their elbows straight. But I was so nervous going out there, they would just be like straight like a board. So like you kind of have to have them like a little bit bent, but not too much bent.
Okay.
And like it's all in the shoulders, really. It's not really even about your elbows. But I thought it was about your elbows because I would just keep them straight.
You know what? And that's not something someone wouldn't even think about.
I know.
Just practicing their elbows. And that does actually seem kind of challenging, almost like a doll in a way. Mm-hmm. Is that kind of the goal?
Well, sort of. You want to look as like natural and flowing as you can, but not with too much movement and not enough movement.
Okay. It's a science. It's a science behind it. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people, I guess, there's tons of people who know about this industry, but some people who aren't as familiar with it have seen the movie Miss Congeniality, and that's as far as they know about this industry. But we all know that there's a talent portion usually. What is your talent?
This year I will be tapping a cappella to a cover of Whitney Houston's How Will I Know. Wow. And it was actually my solo for my competitive dance team 2 years ago. I fell in love with it. It was definitely the most challenging dance ever. There was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears put into that dance. Tears literally, because there's no music. And my teacher would be like, this is the beat. And I'm like, there is no beat. What are you talking about? So musically and listening wise, it's one of the most challenging dances I've ever done.
Well, I could imagine. First, how long have you been tapping?
Since I was like 2.
Wow, okay. Forever, huh?
Yes, I've been dancing since I was 2.
Wow. And why the song by Whitney Houston, How will I know?
I kind of gave my dance teacher free rein and said, whatever you want me to dance to this year, I'll dance to this year. And I was like, oh, man. After I said that, I was like, oh,
She
she's going to pick a
definitely
hard
picked a
song.
challenging song for you. Yeah. Well, that's so exciting. And obviously you're doing very well. How do you prepare for the tough questions that the judges, ask you? I know that's like a thing that a lot of people get nervous about. How do you prepare for that? Because you never know what they're going to ask, right?
So a lot of it comes, they told us this year that there's not a limit on platform question or community service initiative questions, and there's not a limit on current events questions. There's no limit on any questions. They can ask you as many of what they want to. A lot of it comes from watching local news channels, national news channels, and mock interviews. I've done about 8 mock interviews with my committee, and every time there's always a new current event question that I was semi-prepared for but not really prepared for. But I got my critiques back, and I definitely went back in and was like, okay, this is what I need to study up on.
So it's very important to stay in tune with the current events, what's happening in the world. Now, I know off camera, you and I had a brief conversation about these mock interviews. Could you explain a little bit about that?
So in January, not really even January, like as soon as I won, they were like, these are the dates for your mock interviews, and there was like 7 set up. Some of them were in Marion, some of them were in Lincolnton, and I was like, this is a lot of mock interviews, but it really wasn't. I was just being dramatic. But basically, we go in, there's a new set of judges each time, and I'm not actually being scored. Mm-hmm. I go in, they ask me questions. I have a 30-second opening and a 30-second closing. And then they just start bombarding me with questions, and I answer them to the best of my ability, and then when I'm done, I leave the room. They write down their critiques for me. I come back in. They give me really good constructive criticism. I study that, and then a couple weeks later, I go back for another mock interview, and I'm just trying to be better than what I was at before.
Right. And even though I'm pretty sure it's really challenging, but it's really to prepare you for the state level competition, correct?
Yes.
Wow. Well, what does behind the scenes look like when you're getting ready for, a competition? What does that look like behind the scenes for everyone involved?
So far, we went dress shopping, and I bought my dress. And I fell in love with it. It was the very first dress I put on. And my directors were like, you have to try on other dresses. And I was like, but I want this one. But I ended up getting that one. So that was the moral of that story. I've done countless mock interviews. And I've done a lot of stuff with my platform. Because nobody wants a queen who's not active in the community trying to change a social issue.
And along the lines of that, what are some social issues that you're passionate about?
Well, my community service initiative is called Love Yourself, and it raises awareness for teen suicide. I would say I'm the most passionate about that. I'm the most passionate about rising healthcare costs, and just anti-bullying. I'm really very anti-bullying, and I think a lot of it starts within the schools.
And why specifically those 3?
Because I want to pursue a career in healthcare, and I think everybody should have access to healthcare no matter how much you can pay and how much you can't pay. Suicide, because it has affected people in Cherryville, it's affected people in Burns District, all over Cleveland County, all over Gaston County. You see it everywhere. You see it nationwide. And anti-bullying, because I was a victim of bullying in middle school, and I just don't want anybody to ever have to go through that.
Okay, and in regards to, healthy balance with social media, what advice would you give children or just anyone in general on how to balance social media? It's so important these days because we're all on it all day. So what advice would you give someone if they were trying to bring balance to their lives?
First thing I would say is don't say anything through a text that you wouldn't say to your mom or your dad, because if you wouldn't say it to them, it's probably not a good thing to say to anyone. Yes. Second thing is, if you're not spending at least an hour outside a day, unless it's raining, it's acceptable because no one wants to be in the rain. But try to spend some time outside, because getting that fresh air is very vital for you as a human instead of being locked in on a screen, because being outside and being connected with the world will teach you more than what a phone can.
Absolutely. And even just taking like a short walk during the day makes such a big difference. But, okay, now for some fun questions.
All right.
What are some interesting things that people may not know about you? Maybe 3 interesting things about you.
My interesting facts. So I once had a monkey pick my nose.
Okay.
Yes, my mother and I went to Tennessee, and she was like, we're going to go meet a monkey, and we're gonna ride 4-wheelers, and we're gonna go horseback riding. We're gonna zip line.
So this was already planned before you guys got there.
Yes, my mother had this whole plan in her head, and I was like, Mom, I don't know about a monkey, and she was like, we're doing it. His name was Abu, and he was like 6 months old, and he was the sweetest thing ever, and he jumped up on my shoulders and scared the life out of me, and then picked my nose, and the like his owner was like, they do that when they think of you as family, and I was like. That was the sweetest thing ever.
Now, was this at a zoo, or where did you guys find a monkey?
I don't really know what it was. It was a place that offered, it had, a bird exhibit and a monkey and squirrels and ATVs and UTVs and ziplining and horseback riding. It was, an all-around place in Tennessee.
All right.
Yes. It was kind of sketchy, though. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, it sounds a bit random.
If you're not willing for an adventure, don't go. Yes. But it was a lot of fun.
It does sound fun. Now, what are 3 items on your bucket list? Things that you just have to do. What are 3 things that you just must do?
Travel to Italy.
Okay.
Try out for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders and own 2 hairless cats. I have to own 2 hairless cats at some point in my life.
My aunt has one, actually. Yeah, they're interesting.
I have wanted one for so long. And my mom's like, those are ugly creatures. And I'm like, no, Mom. It's like a baby, but it walks on 4 legs. And it's already potty trained.
Is it? Wait, are they easy to potty train? Or I guess it's a cat. So
cats just know to use the litter box.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you want it? Do you have any cat allergies, or do you just want it?
No, I just want hairless cats. I have 5 cats right now, but I just want hairless cats.
Wow. Well, there you go.
I think they're so cute.
Well, quick question before I let you go. When is your next competition? What's next for you?
Next week, I will be traveling to High Point to compete for Miss North Carolina's team. I have my interview on Tuesday.
All right.
My preliminary nights are Thursday and Friday, and finals are Saturday.
And what are you doing to get prepared for that?
Resting as much as I can, because from what I've heard, rehearsals start at 7 in the morning, and they end at lunchtime, and then you compete later in the day.
Wow.
Yes.
So you've got the How Will I Know down.
Yes.
Perfected.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, if someone wanted to follow you and keep up with your journey, where could they follow you? What's your social media handles?
I have a Facebook for Miss Emerald Ridge's Outstanding Teen. I have that. And if you want to watch the pageant, go to missnorthcarolina.org, and it'll be popped up for preliminary nights and final nights.
Very nice. And lastly, what's one thing that you just like to say to our viewers?
Never stop being who you are, because who you are is an amazing person. Always stay true to yourself and try to be the light of somebody's life.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dallas Seagle, for coming in. Good luck next week. You're going to do amazing.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Stay tuned for more at the Wise News Network.